and welcome back to Minecraft Dinosaurs, where I'm standing with a sight line to 3 of the builds we did in our last episode. You can see our campsite just over there, and the Firewatch Tower looking over the horizon, and this build, which was a little extension onto the Info Center, is looking absolutely amazing. I have been busy trying to kind of terraform a little bit, clearing out the vanilla forest in this area, and connecting up our path from the other side that we built a while ago over to this path that connects us up to the swamp and over to our forest back where we've been building most of our parks. So now that it's all connected up, there's still a little bit more work that we need to do to really connect this area over to the swamp and then the swamp over to the aquarium lagoon. And I've been trying to consider how to do that, and I think I've come up with a pretty cool idea. But the idea actually starts with this user on my Discord, where they gave the suggestion to put all the Carboniferous creatures into a cave system. So that's the idea we're going to be building off today because I think it fits in so well with our park. Having the tour maybe start in the basement of the info center as kind of like an attraction, going underneath the swamp where like the water and maybe the foliage and like some of the other caves we built in some of those enclosures are kind of leaking down into the cave system, sustaining the creatures that are down there, and then carrying the cave system off over to our lagoon and our abandoned quarry, almost like the miners that were mining the quarry broke into the cave system, and that's how we found it, and then we've turned it into an attraction for the national park. I think is a really cool, just little bit of lore to kind of connect all 3 of these areas in the park. Another component of Gallus' suggestion was that we actually use the prehistoric plants in the mod to make the cave system feel very lush, overgrown, but also ancient. So that way our Carboniferous creatures really feel at home. And I absolutely love this suggestion, and it's why we spent a lot of time in our last episode building up the infrastructure to have all of our prehistoric plants. Let's go ahead and get started building, and we're going to start here in the info center. You see, this building was kind of made to showcase each of the different skeletons for all of the dinosaurs, because I have a goal in this series to have the skeletons on display for every single creature. We've already got a bunch over in our aquarium for all our aquatic species, and this first floor has every single one of the dinosaur skeletons somewhere throughout this build. But now what I want to do is I want to go to the animals that were before the dinosaurs, the synapsids, the amphibians, the bugs, all of our Carboniferous creatures, and I want to build them a little exhibit in this space that I've been digging out. I think having all of their skeletons down here will be a good way to include them, but I also want to build some terrariums that will kind of highlight the actual living creatures before you head into the cave system. I'm filling in all the walls with this green wool color because I think I want this exhibit to essentially act like a stand-in bug house. If you recall, in the beginning of the series, I said I was going to build a separate building for all of these kind of creatures and make it this like huge bug house, herbaquarium type thing. And I was originally thinking, the inside's all green and you've got your terrariums on the walls. But I think now, since we're doing a cave system, I still want to do similar things to a bug house in this exhibit, but I want it to be like the starting point of our cave. And I think this green coloration on the walls here really helps enunciate that. And now that the walls, floor, and ceiling are all in place, it's starting to actually look like an exhibit hall, and we need to start filling it up with some stuff. Namely, I want to start with the skeletons first to make sure we represent all the different skeletons in this space, but I only have 5 shale fossil to my name. I don't know what has been wrong with me. I guess I just haven't really been going to collect shale fossil. I only have 5, and I could break down the tough fossil blocks, but I only have 40 of them, and I think they're a little bit rarer than just the deep slate. So I'm going to go mining and try and get a little bit more deep slate fossil. Which actually brings us to our mining mesa, where I gather all the terracotta for my builds, because just over this ridge is a thing that I've never actually shown on camera, and that's the volcano biome. The Fossil and Archaeology mod has had this since the old versions. I think it was one of the last updates they did before they started working on porting it to the newer versions of Minecraft. And it's this really, really cool biome with tons of the volcanic rock and tons of this other block. I think it's called ash over here. And they also have tons and tons of fossils available in each of these little patches. So I'm going to go around a little bit, gather up some fossils. I know they're the tough fossils that I just said were rare, but I forgot that these over here were tough and not deep slate. So let's go around, grab up all these fossils, and then we can head back over to work on our exhibit. Now that we've got our shale fossil, I want to go through a little bit and basically add display cases just like we did on our upper floor. Basically, I put down some blocks, I put down the fossil, and then we cycle it until we get the one that we want. And there we go. And then once we have that one, we take our bones, grow it all the way up, and then we position it in just like the middle a little bit and try and line it up just so it's good. We can even maybe shift it back a little bit so that way it's more in the center here. And then once we're pretty good with the positioning, I think right about there will be good. We take our glass, which I actually left over here, should be right there, okay. And then we basically just try and find where there's a little bit of a gap where we can place the blocks, and then our fossil is in the middle of our little display case. So if I go through and do all of the different creatures we want to display, we started here with the Crassigeranus, we can probably fit all of them in this space. I think I've finished up the exhibit, placing down all the species that are available in the shale fossils. We've got all of our bugs, and I've even included the trilobites and the megalograptus, which we actually have enclosures for over in our lagoon, but I think we might include them in the cave system because they are part of the shale fossil like loot pool, and I think it'll be a cool little like explanation as to where they come from, like we found them in the caves and then put them in our aquarium. I don't think we'll build them a little terrarium in this exhibit since they already have an enclosure over in that other build. But I think I'm really happy with all the displays, and we even have some really cool like mock cave systems with all of our plants for the synapsids either side. We've got Dimetrodon over there and a Dilophosaurus right here. And I think all in all, that's really, really good progress. So now what I want to start doing is making the enclosures for the living ones. I'm going to start digging out where I want to put each of the little terrariums on this wall. And there we go. I got them all dug out, and I think all that's really left is to decorate them and add our creatures. So I'm thinking we'll probably try and do similar to what we did in these little displays, just really make the backdrop feel like it's just part of the cave system, and then we'll go ahead and plop in our prehistoric creatures. But let's go ahead and get to work decorating these exhibits. This took me way longer than I would like to admit, but I think each enclosure is done. We've got the rock formations kind of making a cave. We've got the prehistoric plants really making them feel old and ancient, and I think each one of them is just different enough for each of our different creatures to kind of give them a little bit of a unique environment. I tried to take a lot of inspiration from the lush caves and dripstone caves in the newer versions of the game just because they're new, and like it's hard to remember that they're new when I've been playing in this world for so long, but for the Dinos world and for a Dino series, these are all new things, so I really wanted to base the cave systems off of those two things from the Caves and Cliffs update, and I think it turned out really, really good. I'm really happy with each of these, and I think it's time we go get our creatures. Where I have a collection of DNA that's just been sat in this chest since pretty much the start of the series, I've just been slowly building up each of these creatures, trying to get enough DNA for all of them. And I think these are all the ones we have enclosures for. I'm going to work on slowly but surely cultivating them all up, and then I'll bring you guys back when we're ready to place them down. I have acquired all of our eggs, and I think I'm ready to go through and hatch them. I need to be really careful because these ones, I believe, are instant hatchings. But we're going to go to our Dimetrodon first because it looks like we'll be able to place down this egg. And I've got tunnels built for each of the enclosures, and we can just go down here. We'll place this one down and just wait for it to hatch. And while we wait, we can go hatch our 2 different bugs. Let's start in this enclosure where we will be having Arthroplura. Now, this is basically a giant centipede, so I'm just gonna go ahead and do 1 and 2, and oh my gosh, those guys are so tiny. Look at how small they are. Oh, look at him. I didn't know that they would be like super white at the beginning. What do they eat? What do these guys eat? These are plant eaters. I don't know that much about these creatures as opposed to the dinosaurs. I'm a little less familiar, but all in all, I think these guys are so cute. They're like so small. Where did he go? I really hope they don't drown in this water. That would be like absolutely terrible. But hopefully they'll be okay. I think that's good. I think that looks really cute. Oh my gosh, look, they're so incredibly small. I know that they grow up to be quite a bit bigger, and I hope that this enclosure is sizable. I mean, we've got the live one out there, so I think it will be just looking at them. Okay, let's go over to the Meganera, which is on the opposite side here. We've just got a little passageway. Now, these ones are basically dragonflies, and I don't exactly know what their diet is or if they're going to attack me. I seem to remember in the old versions of the mod, they were very hostile all the time. So let's just right there. Oh my gosh, wow. They are so kind of gross, honestly. I would say cute, and you guys know I typically say cute. These guys kind of give me the heebie-jeebies. They do not look inviting. Oh my gosh. What do these guys eat? They are carnivores and pisectivores. So let's go ahead and do, I think I brought both chicken and fish because I wasn't too sure what they would eat. So let's go ahead and just fill up on both. Oh, I almost put the eggs in. That would have been bad. There we go. Okay, that works for those guys. Now let's head back over to the Dimetrodon and we can watch as it hatches. Oh, we've got Wiggles. Hopefully any second now our Dimetrodon will be hatching. I had to add a torch because he was actually pretty cold in here. But, oh my gosh, there he is. Oh my gosh, this one's so cute. Much better than the actual dragonflies. Look at his little sail. Aw, what are you? You are, in fact, a carnivore and a fish eater, so we'll just go ahead and give you some chicken, bud. Aw. What are you? We've got a female Dimetrodon. That's so cute. Let's continue with the amphibians, and we're going to do the Diplocalus in this little one. Let's do 1, 2, and 3, and oh my gosh, these guys are also really small. I think all of these creatures are going to be really small, but I think these are one of the smallest, and look at them. What are these guys? Where did they just go? Over here. Okay. We've got pisectivores. Okay, good thing I brought fish. I was smart. I knew they all weren't going to be just carnivores, so let's put some fish in here for them. Oh my gosh, look at how small they are. It's so cute. And on the other side of their enclosure, let's do the Crassiduranus. I really hope that this little barrier is enough to stop them from crossing over. I tested it out and I can't walk through this, and I'm really hoping that also applies to the animals. I'm pretty sure that they won't be able to, but I'm going to go ahead and plop these 2 down, and they are also really small, and they've got a really cool texture. Do they have little, like, axolotl frills almost? They do! That's so cute! Let's see what you are, little one. Hopefully I can get you right here. Are they asleep? Are they nocturnal? They are nocturnal. That's super cool. They're also pisectivores. Okay, let's grab some fish out of our box here. And we'll put it in. Where did I put their feeder? Theirs is over here. Okay. Hopefully they're doing good. Let's go ahead and hand feed them because they are already asleep. Where did you go? Where did you go? Come here. Have some fish. Have some fish. Oh, that might mean that they are not tamed to me. Let's just feed these guys until they're tamed. Hopefully they'll be tamed. All right, let's do our last amphibian, and then we can finish off with our other synapsid with the Adaphosaurus. But we have to have our little enclosure for Grandpa right here, Tiktaalik. Look at him. He's also really cool. Wait, he's also I thought he was a lot bigger or would be a lot bigger, considering he's like one of the biggest amphibians in the mod. What are you? Wait, let me see. Let me see where you are. He's hiding amongst the plants. Sectivore. Okay, let's go ahead and give you a bunch of fish. Hopefully, I think I need to tame you too. There we go. I bet that I probably need to go tame the Diplocalus again. So let's go ahead and tame those guys and then head over to our Adaphosaurs. And we've got more wiggles for our last creatures, which should be hatching any second now. Our Adaphosauruses! Oh my gosh, that was good timing. Look at these little guys. Oh my gosh, they're so cute. I think these guys are also herbivores, so let's go ahead and tame them. I realized that none of the creatures were tamed, so I went ahead and went through and tamed all the ones we just had, and these guys are so cute. Look at them. They are. I think I like these ones more than the Dimetrodon, honestly. Just that, like, this little baby texture is so cute. I think they even grow up to be green, so I think that they are absolutely phenomenal. I think all of these enclosures are absolutely great. Let's go ahead and get out of here and have a look. Now, I know that was a lot of new creatures really quickly, but I think this exhibit is now fully finished. We've got each of our creatures in here, and let's just have a look around. Let's see if we can see all of them. I think the Diplocaluses were kind of centered around the feeder. There you go. You can kind of catch a glimpse right there. They're all really small now, so I think I need to give them some time to grow up and then really fill out their enclosures, but I think they're all looking so cute. I absolutely love this exhibit already. They're also small, but I think this whole like area really works. I know we just spent most of the episode working on it, but I really like this, and I am super duper excited to carry this build forward into our Carboniferous Caves. But before we get digging, I think I want to touch the sun a little bit, so I'm going to let these guys grow up and work on some terraforming just outside of the info center. Like I said, I want to work in this area so we give our creatures a chance to grow up. So I think what I'm going to do is further our goal to connect the info center up to the swamp. And I think a big step we could do is make it not floating. I think it being floating has been really taking me out of it for a while. So I think if we can connect our info center into the existing terrain, it'll look a whole lot better. I think that mission accomplished. We have the info center brought down a little bit, and there's still more work to be done in this area. I'm thinking in the future, I want to add like a parking lot and then maybe a roadway traveling around here and out towards World Spawn. So we have a really nice starting point and then a way to come into the park. But I don't want to work on that this video because we're already getting a little bit long on the runtime, so I think we'll try and figure that out between episodes, and then in a future one we'll come through and really try to finish off this area between the info center and our swamp. But it's already looking really good, and since I got this done pretty quickly, I actually ended up filling out this section of the forest. You see, there's lots of spaces in this world that just don't have anything in them because maybe they're not getting an enclosure or maybe they're between enclosures. So it's kind of just what I like to call a dead space that just needs to have terraforming and trees and then nothing much else and like any small details we could come up with. So I did a lot of this work on stream because I wanted to basically show you all how a section like this gets done. We did like, I think 4, maybe even 6 streams of just doing terraforming in this area. We did really cool details throughout here that I think are really, really cool. We've got a little like ranger chest over here that has a bunch of like ranger supplies for our park rangers. And I think all in all, this little section just helps fluff out the forest a little bit, and we need to do it in a lot more areas. So I'm going to continue to try and do a lot of that grind work on live stream. So if you ever have any interest to see some of this more like grindy work, I do totally recommend just popping in, hanging out, seeing what gets done behind the scenes. I mean, we did this whole forest section, and I even tackled like turning the bottom of this river into mud on one of the live streams, just kind of doing some of those tasks that like take a minute, but I don't really want to include in a video because maybe they're hard to see or maybe they'll end up getting cut out. So really check out the live streams if you have any interest. But with all this work being done, I bet our creatures are fully grown. So let's go check them out. I gotta say, I'm absolutely in love with this exhibit. I actually think it does accomplish its goal really, really well. Just being able to go up to each of the terrariums, try and like spot the different creatures throughout them, I think is really, really fun. And I love the Adaphosaurs. They're so cute for some reason. I don't know why, but they just look absolutely adorable to me. They're just so funnily shaped, and they have such a cute waddle, I think. But I absolutely love them. The Dimetrodon is also incredibly cool now that it's got its full sail. And I absolutely love this exhibit. It really accomplishes what I originally wanted the bug house to be. But now that we're doing the cave system, I think it works spectacularly well. But now I need to get to digging, but I think we'll save that for a future episode. I just want to remind you all that this whole idea stemmed from one of the suggestions that you all left. So if you're not in the Discord, I highly encourage you to join so that way if you have any ideas, you can give them basically directly to me and they will probably end up in the series in some form or another. But with that said, I want to say a massive thank you to my members on the YouTube channel. I know I forgot in the last episode, so I'm so sorry, but I appreciate you guys so much, and thank you for all your love and support. I'm going to leave it there, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye!